It's Dan Arthur here for the I Love St. Pete Facebook group. If you're a business owner looking to connect with tens of thousands of potential new local customers, you owe it to yourself to get enrolled in our Key Tag Rewards program. Since 2019, we've signed up more than 200 local merchants. Sponsor opportunities are available too, such as our group banner ad and even your own custom key tags. Just go to stpetekeytag.com, get enrolled, and get ready to get busy. stpetekeytag.com.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television on this Motivational Monday. I want to know how you guys are doing right now after that Tampa Bay Buccaneer loss. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. And how do we start off this show? Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll have our professional handicapper from 1252 Sports out of Chicago, Mr. Harry the Greek, recapping that Bucs loss. We'll go around the NFL, talk about early betting lines, and then after that, we'll try to get a little bit lighthearted, if you will, with something, of course, fun. And we'll take your phone calls as always. How you feeling today, Bucs fans? It's not all bad, right? I mean, I get it. It was somewhat of an embarrassing loss where the Washington football team clearly dominated you. I get that. But you're still 6-3. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. We'll get out to Harry the Greek in just a moment. Let's go out to BA, get his thoughts about this Bucs loss here live on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Here we go.
That display was very reminiscent of the last one. It's baffling to me after the week of practice I watched these guys have that we could play that poorly. We played with enough passion and energy for about 8 or 9 minutes to win games in this league. And we got to show up on Sundays. We're doing a hell of a job Monday through Friday, but we're not showing up on Sundays. No, that has nothing to do with ability. It's all about execution and being a smart football team. We're a very dumb football team, and that's a reflection of the coaches. Energy and passion is very fixable. You know, the penalties, they got to get corrected sooner or later. I mean, first play of the game, we're shifting and we jump off sides. I mean, they don't even run a play and we jump off sides. That's just the stupidity has to go away if we're going to go anywhere.
So there you go. You're not the only one that feels stupid for picking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, although this gentleman right here told you from the very beginning that it would be a closer game than it was projected to be with that line. Let's go out to Mr. Harry, the Greek professional handicapper of 1252 Sports in Chicago. What's going on, my friend? And you hear it from BA. Pretty self-explanatory. In fact, he not only threw himself underneath the bus, but all his players with calling this team a dumb football team. Your thoughts? Welcome to the evolution.
You know, I got to tell you, first off, Peter, thank you so much for having me on. It's always an honor to be on the Sports Web.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I always like to talk about the Sports Web because I got to give. Oh, Lord, what in the world is all that noise? Stand by, Peter.
Yes.
Nope, I'm good. I'm all good now. I'm something's feeding in my ear saying something about obesity. Really? That's just funny. I know we were going to keep it lighthearted. Look, I don't want to be the reason. Look, man. I hate I really hated being right about that pick in that game.
Right.
Okay. Um, Look, the bottom line is this: that team gave the Buccaneers more of a problem than any team last year did. Forget about the games that they lost, and they won that playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
And they were very fortunate to win that playoff game because if you remember, it was only 1 or 2 plays. And here comes Washington limping in with one defensive end out. Midway through the game, their star defensive end is out of the game with Chase Young, possibly out for the season. And I said that they were going to play inspired, but they match up really well against this Tampa team.
Yeah.
Okay. This is not a player issue, Peter. It isn't. This is a coaching issue. Now, I'm not telling you got to fire your head coach. I'm not saying you have to fire your defensive coordinator. Not saying anything like that. But they need to rein in this team a little bit more, Peter, and they need to hold people a little bit more accountable. You can only use excuses for so long. Everybody has injuries. Not one team in the National Football League doesn't have a substantial amount of injuries, at least at 1 or 2 or 3 positions on their team right now. And the loss of Vita Vea, from what I understand, I think it was a bone bruise, and that might actually be pretty good news. Your thoughts?
Yes. Very good news today, according to Ian Rappaport of NFL Network. Vea has a slight MCL sprain and a bone bruise. Won't have to miss significant time. Of course, coming off the broken leg last year, had to miss some significant time, and guys have to still step up on this team, namely a Nacho, whatever depth they have, Steve McClendon, who's been inactive the last couple of weeks. They're going to have to do something because this rush defense hasn't been as good as advertised lately. And you look at that last defensive or offensive drive by the Washington football team, 19 plays, 80 yards, over 10 minutes of possession, and you're not able to get the ball back because your defense can't get off the field on third down. Your thoughts?
Well, that's exactly what it was. You and I have had some pretty entailed, conversations about what I personally thought of what this team was doing.
Right.
Look, they have the talent to be the best team in the National Football League. Unfortunately, so does Kansas City.
Mm,
So do a few other teams, and they're not playing up to their ability. And I hate to use the word Super Bowl hangover, and everybody can make an excuse for injuries. Injuries have something to do about this. But
sure.
the one Achilles heel that this team has had, I'm sorry, and you can argue with me, and everybody can tell me I'm wrong. It starts with this head coach. I don't like, never have liked the risk it, no biscuit mentality. Even when you have a Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, I can go on and on and on and on. But I will tell you one thing, Peter. I was wrong about one thing. You had asked me who they were going to miss more, Gronkowski or Antonio Brown. And I says, this team can afford to lose a wide receiver.
Mm.
I was so wrong. When's Chris Godwin going to start catching passes? He has not been the same ever since he hurt that finger and he had that pin put in. You do recall what I'm talking about.
Absolutely, I do. In the
Okay.
playoff game, and he was hurt yesterday. He doesn't necessarily wasn't 100%, and you could see that. Look, you're coming into this game against the Washington secondary. That's at the very bottom of the National Football League. You would like that matchup, but at the end of the day, guys got to win their one-on-one matchup. So Mike Evans has to win his matchup. We heard from BA about the game plan itself, dumping it off to Leonard Fournette. He wanted Brady to hold the ball a little bit more, but he said that Brady was getting hit, was getting pressured. The Bucs didn't give up any sacks yesterday, but still he was getting pressured. And of course, when that gets into a quarterback's head, then of course he's going to get rid of the ball.
You got a call coming in, brother.
Yeah, I do. I'll tell you what, let's go out to his walk-up music. Here we go. All right, Ed from Palm Harbor, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. You're on with yours truly, along with the professional handicapper here, Mr. Harry the Greek.
I think maybe I need to get a better theme song. I don't think nobody's going to know what theme song that is.
Well, what theme song would you like, Ed?
I don't know. I'll have to think about it.
Okay.
But I just don't think. I mean, me and you know who it is because we like Metallica.
Well,
but
do you
nobody
want
else
Enter
is gonna know.
Sandman instead, Ed? Would that make you happy? I'm here to make the fans happy. It's
Well,
Motivational
it's not
Monday.
about making me happy.
No, it's
bro.
about
I just want
making
the other people to know what we're doing.
No.
know?
Listen, I know, I get what you're saying. I'm joking. I get what you're saying, Ed. Go ahead, my friend. After the Bucs lose to the Washington football team,
what is Harry doing there?
Harry is getting ready to fire his
high-powered rifle. You'll understand a little later, buddy. And if you notice, Peter's laughing about it. I'm getting ready to fire. If you swing that bat,
Yep.
I got a high-powered rifle up in the stands for you. You need to stay tuned because
Stay
somewhere toward the
tuned.
middle to the
Yes.
end of the show, you will totally understand. But trust me,
Okay.
Ed, you will love it. And I'm sorry that I was right about the game yesterday, Ed. Truly, I am. But I seen something and it didn't spell good. And before you really give your comment, let me tell you something. This team is a 12.5-point favorite this week. My
Wow.
question is why?
Well,
Yeah.
they're expected
And
to get
here's
back
what-
Antonio. Hold on, they're expected to get back Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, possibly SMB. And at the end of the day, this team has played better at home this year. 4-0, 2-3 on the road. Now you can go ahead, Ed.
Okay, what I see the past two games when they've been on the road is they just lack passion. They lack an upbeat tempo. They just look around like they're just not really 100% into the game.
Right, like they're flat.
And I've never been in an NFL locker room before a game, so I don't know what they do. But when I was playing in Little League, high school, and junior league, they would have a powwow to get us up and ready to go.
Sure.
They would do something to get us loose and pissed off at the same time. So, so I don't know what's going on there, but on the road, they just seem to come out and they're just flat. Now, there were a couple of games this season where they didn't come out flat. And one of them, they played, I think they played the Rams in LA, right?
Yes.
They came out and they drove the ball down the field on their first drive and scored.
Right.
And then after that, they just went to sleep, it just seemed like. But, I don't know. They just seem to lack something. Like they lose a lot, when they go and play on the road. And that's not a good thing. If you're a championship team and you have aspirations about going to the Super Bowl, you got to win, on the road just as much as at home.
Well, you may have to, especially if you keep on losing, because you lose the opportunity to get the number one seed, and that's what you really want. You want that number one seed so you can get that first round bye. If not, besides possibly the wild card game, you're going to play on the road. Is that what you've noticed here, Harry the Greek? Their inability to win on the road, which wasn't, a point of emphasis last year. This year, why is it a point?
You know what? I'm not going to go only just there, but I'm going to answer one of the questions for you. It's about accountability. Okay. It's not a player situation. Okay. They are missing some players. Okay. Tom Brady went 23 for 34 for 220. He had 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. Should have been 3 in the first half. On the other side of the field, Heineke went 26 for 32. Let me repeat it. 26 for 32. He didn't light it up. He went for 256 yards.
Sure.
He was only taking what the defense was giving him. The same thing that Brady was doing with the offense. I seen some posts earlier today. Well, you don't have no risk it, you get no biscuit. Horse crap. That's not what you want to do. I'm so tired of that cliche. No risk it, no biscuit. It's called no run, no win.
It's
called no run, no win. Let me give you these stats, guys. Leonard Fournette, 11 rushes, 47 yards.
Yep.
Ain't going to get it done.
Nope.
Gibson, 24 rushes, 64 yards. That's not a lot of yards.
Yeah.
But do you know why that's significant, Ed, Peter, and everybody that's out there? Because that's why Heineke went 26 for 32. He didn't have to gain a ton of yards because it caught all the corners and the safeties and brought the linebackers up on the line of scrimmage, and he was able to get it just behind them to move the chains. Giovanni Bernard, what the hell did they go out and get this guy for if they're not going to use him? 1 attempt, 4 yards. Tom Brady had a rush for 2 yards. But you know what? Washington had Gibson, Heineke, Patterson, Carter, McKissick. Can I just keep going? Everybody kept running the football.
Yeah.
Hey, where's the victim of volume? I know he's not having a fantastic season, but not one rushing attempt. Not one.
And to that point, Bruce was talking about that today when he was asked in the presser, and he said, look, we didn't have that many plays, which he didn't. You look at the total plays, Harry and Ed, 71 for the Washington football team, compared to 47 for the Bucs. So, at the end of the day, I absolutely understand it. I get it, but you're exactly right. You have to incorporate the running game. But if your offense doesn't have the ball and your defense can't get off the field, and they're on the field that long, especially that last drive, and then the third down conversion situation, it is not going to be a recipe for success. In fact, it's going to be a recipe for disaster. What else, Ed?
I didn't really see any no risk it, no biscuit yesterday. I
No,
saw
you
a
didn't.
lot of passes thrown down, check downs, a lot of throw to the wide not even thrown to the wide receiver. A lot of them were
Pass to Leonard Fournette, dumping it off.
Yeah.
I mean, you got fortunate there with Brate with the ball being tipped in for the touchdown. But besides that, you really didn't see any deep passes besides the play that gets them back into it. 40 yards to Mike Evans, which, by the way, ties Mike Alstott for the most touchdowns in Buccaneer history with 71. Of course, he's going to eclipse that this year. Absolutely. But you got to see more of that. And you would think, even if you're doubling a Mike Evans, that there would be opportunities for Tyler Johnson. But when you throw it to a Johnson, he has to catch the ball. When Godwin's getting thrown the ball, he has to catch the ball. He wasn't 100%.
If he doesn't catch the ball, he
Right.
needs to play a little defense instead of tipping it up into the air. I mean, I've noticed that players, you're not always going to catch the ball. You're going to lose concentration. But when that happens, then you got to play a little defense and make sure nobody else catches it.
Right. I don't think this is necessarily Brady's best game either. I mean, again, 23 for 34.
It's not Brady's best game.
Hey, man, hang on. Hold on. Time out, everybody. 23 for 34 is an incredible stat, okay? Those are really, really good numbers. There were some mistakes. After the game was over, I broke the game down. I had to watch it again, okay? One of the interceptions, hey, look, man, Tristan Wirfs, I love him. He better get his head back in the game. I'm telling you that right now. I'll let Blake Anthony break it down, but he was giving up the cheeks more than Donovan Smith did the entire year last year.
Wow.
Missing easy blocks going on the inside of him, creating the pressure coming up in Brady's face. And Brady still did go for 23 for 34. Listen, Ed, you made a comment. You didn't see any risk it, no biscuit. You're absolutely correct. Let me give you the reason again. It's called Leonard Fournette, 11 for 47, and Giovanni Bernard, 1 for 4. Hold on. On the other end of the ball, 24 times for 64 yards. The Washington football team ran the football 35 times yesterday. Let me repeat it, 35 times. You want risk it? You'll get a biscuit. Pound that rock, brings the safeties up, brings those linebackers up, and let your speed take care of it.
Exactly.
You've got to agree with that, right, Ed?
Absolutely, exactly.
I think Brady's fighting this system. I really do. I don't think he's really happy with it either.
I don't necessarily think he's fighting the system. What I think they're fighting right now, once again, is injuries. When you don't have Antonio Brown in there, when you don't have Rob Gronkowski, when you're banged up on that side of the ball with your two main weapons that Brady is comfortable with, not saying he's not comfortable with Evans and Godwin, but once again, Godwin wasn't 100% yesterday. He was a game-time decision. So very fortunate he played. And then you got Jalen Darden, who you're throwing the ball to. To me, that's not on Brady. That's on Darden. But, of course, BA says that's on Brady. So Brady's going to take accountability for it. I know Ben has some comments, so we'll get to those about BA because he's been very critical. But I think, listening to Randy Moss tonight on the ESPN pregame show, he had a great point. BA is going to call out Brady, and that basically means everybody on this team is going to be a target, and you're going to be called out at the end of the day.
Yep.
It doesn't matter to BA. He's going to call you out if you don't play well, and he's called out this defense. We'll get out to BA in just a moment about his thoughts on this defense. Anything else, Ed?
Yeah, the reason why I say I think he's fighting the system a little bit is because he didn't really throw to any wide receivers. He tried a little bit earlier, and he did throw some passes late in the game to wide receivers deep. One got completed to Mike Evans in the end zone for a touchdown, for a 40-yard touchdown.
Right.
But most of the time, he tried to hit wide receivers that were going underneath.
But he did throw, Ed. He threw 34 times, Ed. He threw 34 times. He only had 2 receptions to Mike Evans. Chris Godwin's had an extraordinary game. 8 targets, 7 receptions, only 57 yards. The problem is he was thrown to the running backs out of the backfield. Listen, 10 total times to running backs out of the backfield. That's too many times if you're not running the football, because all the defense has to do is play a zone and keep everything in front of them, and eventually the ball's going to come to them. Again, I'm going to go back to it. Go back to what Washington did. They ran the ball 35 times.
Yes, and that opens up the play action, and then on top of it, you can take those deep shots down the field. But at the end of the day, also, these wide receivers, whether they're healthy or not, if they're not healthy, obviously Godwin wasn't fully 100% because
he dropped one pass, Peter.
Right, but he wasn't getting open like Chris Godwin usually gets open. That's the point. And you're Evans is not getting open consistently because he's being double teamed. So somebody has to step up. And that's why I keep on going back to Gronk and Antonio Brown. Good stuff, Ed. Appreciate the call. Yes.
Are they gonna start Perryman this week, you think? Or
he didn't play that much, so it depends on if Antonio Brown is going to be available. Supposedly he'll be available for Monday night versus the Giants. We shall see. But if Brown isn't available, then more than likely, if Darden keeps on putting the ball on the ground, I think there's certainly a possibility that you're going to see some Perryman. You didn't see it this Sunday. You may see it next Monday night. Good stuff, Ed. Appreciate the call.
Is this the same Perryman that was on the Chicago Bears this year?
Yes, Brashard.
No, be careful what you wish for. Be careful. I know exactly who you're talking about. He's not the same Perryman that you were thinking of. Trust me when I said it. Hey, Ed, thanks a lot for the comments. I wasn't trying to be combative. I was just trying to give a different perspective from what I actually watched. I mean, I didn't watch it as a fan. I had to rewatch it and break it down, and those are the mistakes that I've seen. They're going to straighten this out. Don't lose faith in your team. They're going to be fine. They just have to do something with the coaching. And I will say this, Ed, before he's gone. Bruce Arians needs to be a little less indicting. I don't agree with what Randy Moss does. I do not agree with calling your players out, especially when you're losing, because this team, you better remember, Bruce, brought you a championship. Your first one.
Yes.
You better remember that, Bruce.
You're absolutely right. But also, well, I tell you what, let's go out to this guy here. Let's get his walk-up music. I'll get to the comments, I promise you, but let's go out to him. All right.
Yeah! Tampa makes some noise!
All right, Curtis, Motivational Monday here, live on the Sports. I'm Curtis from Newport Richie. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. How you doing tonight, my friend?
My boy.
I don't know how I'm doing.
Well, look, now, hey, you kind of set yourself up for this because you called yesterday. You were feeling good. You were doing your thing. You were even
First of all, I was intoxicated. I'm always intoxicated. Okay.
That's my boy right there, Mr. Curtis, up in no place really.
Hey, Curtis, hold on.
Whether it's some grass or some candy, okay? But just letting you know, I'm always intoxicated.
I love you, brother. I love you. But listen, what you were saying yesterday is, why do we got to play this game? This is the reason why you got to play this game, because
he didn't say that, did he really?
He did say it.
I did say it. But see, here's the thing.
Yes.
This Harry, hold on now.
Blame it on the alcohol.
You can blame it on whatever you want to blame it on, but I blame it on the terrible ass professionals that can't stop pre-snap penalties. And listen.
I don't want to hear about penalties and bad officiating. All you had to do was watch Monday night's game.
Hey, listen, let me tell you something. I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. I'm the biggest Gale Sayers fan in the world. I have a Gale Sayers jersey in my closet that I never take out of my closet. Okay?
Nice.
But I love that guy. So he's Mr. Bear to me. But anyway.
Did you say Bears? Hold on a sec.
No, don't do it.
Okay, enough of that. Go ahead, Curtis. Sorry.
With this kid Darden, okay, I didn't even want him to play. I didn't even want him to play receiver this year unless he was doing bubble screens and stuff. I don't need him running 30 yards down the field unless he already has the ball in his hand.
Correct.
Okay. They didn't draft him to be a super receiver. We already have those. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They drafted him for his speed, his elusiveness, his agility. Put him in space. Let him do his thing.
Right. He had a big catch yesterday, by the way. Not only to me the fumble, but
he did, but
29-yard catch. Right.
I mean, he did, but he's a professional. He should make those catches. I mean,
Well,
come on.
I mean, and I think to that point, Curtis, and I understand where you're coming from. I don't think the Bucs anticipated playing him right away, but now with the injury situation with wide receivers getting hurt and not being able to play, now a guy like a Darden has to step up, and you don't necessarily want that, but that's what you got to see out of him.
Harry, you said you rewatched the game last night. Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
How many times did we put Chris Godwin in the slot?
God, you know what? That wasn't really the person I was thinking of, because I actually thought that Godwin had a lot of targets and he did really well. What I was really breaking down in that game was what was Brady looking at in those interceptions. That's what I was doing, and then I was looking at what the linebacking team was doing, and so was the secondary. That's what I was breaking down. As far as the wide receivers, I will break that down probably later on this week, because they are a 12-point favorite against the Giants.
What I want to say is this: we've all watched Antonio Brown in the slot destroy teams,
Mm-hmm.
and before Antonio Brown got here, Chris Godwin used to destroy people in the slot.
Correct.
Why are we getting away from our bread? We look like the old Patriots with the dinking and dunking last night.
Because I honestly don't think Godwin was 100% yesterday. I don't think
he was.
7 for 8.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the same explosive nature. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because Peter, you're spoiled. Look, I'm going to tell you this right now. Chris Godwin's not a number one wide receiver, guys.
I'm spoiled too.
He's not a number one. I'm sorry. He's just not. He's not Antonio Brown. I made a mistake. I was not an advocate last year when the Buccaneers got Antonio Brown, and I remember saying on the other platform this was a mistake for this team, and slowly but surely I was like, he's not getting in trouble.
Right.
This guy's really playing some football. Antonio Brown is the best receiver on this football team. Period. He's still one of the best receivers in the entire National Football League. He still runs the best routes. So please, I can't compare the two. Love Chris Godwin. Don't get me wrong. He's not Antonio Brown.
But to that point, guys, who's the leading receiver on this team? Chris Godwin.
Yep.
Yeah, but guess what? Though, when it's time to pay him next year, he's not going to get what he wants.
We'll see. We'll see what the Bucs do. But you may be.
Yeah, I ain't falling down that rabbit hole like I did this year. They'll never sign him.
Well, there were so many people, and we know this because we were on the other platform right here. There were there's no way they're going to sign him. Give Tyler Johnson the opportunity. Scotty Miller.
He's going to have to blow the top off of this the rest of this season.
Right.
He's going to have to blow the top off the rest of this season.
I don't think he's a bad receiver.
No, absolutely
no,
not.
He's a great receiver, but something happened to this kid when he hurt his hand. I'm telling you, something has happened to him.
There's at least 20 other teams in this league that'll pick him up in the drop of that. He wouldn't have waited as long as OBJ waited.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely for sure. You're absolutely correct about that. All right,
you guys did hear who the New Orleans Saints just re-signed, didn't you?
Who do they re-sign?
You guys are going to all laugh at it, Mr. Kevin White, and he's healthy.
Wow. Okay. Well, he did catch one pass versus the Bucs, I think, for 38 yards, and that was it. He's a man on the milk carton. So
at least they didn't sign Kelvin Benjamin. That guy.
Well, he's a fat tight end now, isn't he? Didn't he change positions to tight end?
Hey, him and Jamarcus Russell are eating at the same table.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. Exactly. Too much food for those guys.
I'm with Harry. When he said that Fournette did have a couple nice runs yesterday. We stopped running the damn ball.
Because that honestly, that is our offense to a certain degree. That can be our weakness. We saw that last year. We saw that against the Saints. How many times did they run the ball? 9 times?
It's a coaching issue. This isn't a player issue, guys.
No, it's not. And you're absolutely right. That was my second point I was going to lead to. Todd Bowles is becoming too predictable. You blitz on first and second down, then you play coverage and third down. Everybody knows that. They did the whole thing. They did the same thing the whole second half yesterday. He blitzed on first and second, and then he played coverage on third.
Yeah.
Every freaking down. And
well,
I'm like, okay.
Is that being too predictable, or is that working with the talent that you have and not necessarily believing in that talent, if you will? Because look, that defensive line had 5 sacks yesterday, but they missed out on some opportunities. Again, we're going to go out to BA in just a moment talking about that defense. They missed out on some great opportunities to take the ball away. They did take the ball away once, but you have 5 sacks, but you're looking at the end of the day, you still let Heineke do whatever he wanted to when he got out of the pocket, and that caused problems on third down. So that's one thing you're going to have to clean up.
I don't know about y'all, but I like this kid Heineke.
No, I love it.
That kid made me a believer. Last year, when I seen him for the first time in the playoffs, I'm telling you, that kid can play. He's a baller. He really is. He's got wheels. He's accurate. He's got a good arm. He can make every single throw. I'm telling you, I think Washington has their quarterback, but he doesn't have that.
Doesn't have that
marquee.
name?
He doesn't have that marquee status.
He doesn't have the name recognition yet, but he does still throw some ill-advised passes.
I want to change
chances.
Right.
I want to change the subject real quick and then go back to what we were talking about. I cried for the Detroit Lions yesterday. I really did.
You're not the only one.
I knew it was going to happen. I knew it. I mean, Harry was all over it. He said that it would be a close game and Detroit would upset it. But I mean,
guaranteed
it's
that
so Detroit Lion fashion to miss a field goal when you have an opportunity to win a game. They've lost on nothing but field goals this year. Remember Justin Tucker.
Let me tell you something. I love that guy, Dan Campbell. I love that guy. I really, really do. Like that guy, he goes out there and he loves his players, man. And just dude, I can't help but to root for that guy. I really can. I'm like, God, I like the Lions they've been a terrible team since I can remember. Yes. And it's just, I love to root for that guy though, man. Yeah. It's like, yeah. But anyway, going back to what I was talking about, listen, nobody's afraid of our secondary. Okay.
Why would they be?
It's not because of Winfield and it's not because of Whitehead. It's because our corners.
Mm-hmm.
These guys were basically we should have just had Harry and Peter out there lined up for all of that. And these kids they play decent,
right?
But it's not consistent.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
And for me, if anything, I was like, put these kids. Listen, the least you could do is put these kids in man to man and keep 2 safeties over the top. Do something,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Do something because Washington doesn't have a receiver that you're terrified of. I'm not terrified of any receivers from Washington.
McLaurin, maybe. I mean that's
he's all right. Going back to Detroit really quick. You ready? Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay. 33, 35, 30, 40 rushing attempts. Anybody want to take a guess? 230 yards on the ground. Let me repeat it.
Yep.
230 yards.
Well, because you have the greatness of Jared Goff, you've got to take the pressure off of him because he's so bad. But you're exactly right. Good teams are balanced. Even bad teams have to be balanced, and that's where you take.
The point I'm trying to make is this: if the Bucs would have ran just 18 times, in one run, just give me 18. DeAndre Swift, not 15, not 20, not 30, 33 rushing attempts. Let me repeat that.
Yeah.
Wow.
33 rushing attempts.
Impressive.
Well, that's why
it's impressive from the second-year player out of Georgia. All right, what else?
That's why Washington didn't bite on our play action.
No, there's no threat of it. There's no
threat of it because they would play action. I did notice this. They would play action and throw to Leonard Fournette out of the backfield. What good is that doing when the linebackers are playing 10 yards back?
Correct.
Hang on, nothing.
Right, exactly. It does nothing for you at all when you don't have a consistent running game, and the defense isn't going to account for it. And that's been the story of this, risk it, no biscuit offense. We even had these struggles last year with the running game, not running consistently. But when that offense took off and when that team started winning games is when they became more balanced. More balanced.
All I'm going to say is this.
Mm-hmm.
If they didn't wake up from the Saints game, they better get bitch slapped from this game.
Oh, yeah.
They did. Because I'm going to tell you right now, a real crappy team's come into town who can still run the football, who can still has a mobile quarterback and still play defense. You're looking at a very similar team coming into town. Real similar team.
The advantage is that the Bucs have played better at home being 4-0. So they got the home field advantage going, but they still have to go out there and play their best game. And if they don't, they're going to get beat by that Giants team. They nearly got beat by that Giants team last year. Very fortunate that they won that game on Monday Night Football. Next Monday night, they better be ready.
My last comment is
Yes.
it has nothing to do with the Bucs because I'm done with the Bucs until Sunday.
Does it have anything to do with baseball?
Don't you start. Don't start, Harry.
No. Have you seen my baseball? Never mind. I was watching something about Mary earlier.
He's
but bro, seriously, in the next 10 or 15 minutes,
just hang out.
You need to hang out.
Yep.
You need to watch because it's very educational, but yet very funny.
Yes.
And I'm going to give you something to think about. Can I?
I ain't going nowhere.
Go for it.
All right. Who leads the Major League Baseball on on-base percentage? Who do you think it is?
All time.
Who do you think
Major League Baseball player that leads an on-base percentage?
Well, since y'all said it like that, I'm considering one of these Rays gigs.
Oh, yeah. You'll never get it, bro.
You'll never get it.
But listen, you have to watch it because
Yes.
it's got a little spice for everything that's in there. But make sure you grab your beer, pop some popcorn. This shit's getting ready to go down. You see Peter in the background laughing? He can't stop. Trust me when I tell you.
The last thing that I want to say is
yes.
This is about football. Is Aaron Rodgers has to be the luckiest turd in America.
Wow.
Turd. Lucky? No. Turd? Yes.
Yeah, well, but like he keeps getting these games where he's just set up to win. Like, this guy, like as much as an asshole as he is, it's just
Yeah, I mean, surprising yesterday how they shut out the Seahawks 17-0. He was okay. He was adequate. They lose Aaron Jones for a couple weeks. You got A.J. Dillon. We'll see what the impact of that is.
I like Dillon.
Yeah.
I actually like that kid.
I liked him too. I know our own Blake Anthony of Sports Talk 49 liked him coming out of Boston College. He was a tank, and he can catch the ball, and he's deceptively quick and fast. So watch out. They may not even skip a beat. They actually may be better.
He missed the game last week.
Mm-hmm.
Like Peyton Manning missed the whole season for the Colts, and they just showed how valuable he was.
Oh, yeah, of course. Look, you can say whatever you want to about Rodgers' attitude off the field, but at the end of the day, he's still one of the most talented quarterbacks in the National Football League, and he's
Harry. Wasn't it you that said that was the worst 7-1 team you've ever seen in your life?
Which team, sir?
The Packers.
The Packers.
Yes, and things change in the National Football League.
Overnight.
They do. I mean, overnight, but I still don't think they're the greatest team out there. I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan right now. I don't like what he's doing out there, and I think he could be had. That defense is really suspect. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's not one really solid football team. I thought the best team in the National Football League is playing tonight in the Rams, and they're getting their ass handed to them 21-7.
21-7.
Hold on. Let me explain.
Watching the game.
2 turnovers to the same dude. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For Stafford. They went for it on 4th down on a trick play instead of making it 21-10, Peter. Here, let's try to go for it on 4th down with a fake field goal from 15 or 20 yards out. Are they nuts?
Well, that's Sean McVay trying to be the smartest guy in the room and trying to get too cute instead of take the points.
I'm telling you right now, if the Rams come back and win this football game, I will anoint them the best team in football right now.
According to Michael Irvin, Cowboys are the best team in the league.
Oh, Michael Irvin can't spell Michael Irvin. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I mean, the guy couldn't analyze football if his life depended on it. The Dallas Cowboys have probably the best offense in football, in my opinion, but their defense is probably just a couple of steps better than Houston.
Exactly. Well, my thing is, you beat the terrible Atlanta Falcons last week.
Right. Yeah. And Atlanta beat New Orleans.
I understand that they beat the Saints last week.
Right.
But the division games are always tough. It doesn't matter who is what or what is who.
Correct.
Division games are always tough. Did nobody expect San Fran to come out here and start kicking the Rams' ass tonight? But it's a division game.
Yep.
Come on.
It's a division game
they play each other twice a year.
Right.
They set up the teams to play these teams twice a year.
Yeah, with Von Miller and OBJ coming in with all that hype, and then the Rams once again, Stafford turning over the ball. That's how big, that's how crucial turnovers are. And to put it out there, Brady had 2 interceptions that first quarter. That is a momentum swing. That goes, if you will, to the Washington football team.
It's just like the Saints game,
Yep.
all those turnovers in the
Yep.
first half, and then the defense. We used to be bend or no break, but it's broken right now.
Broken. It's like Bane breaking Batman's back. That's how broken it is to a certain degree. And that last drive was just painful to watch. I'm sitting there with Blake Anthony, and they're powerless. If they're getting 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3, that team is gonna convert it because the Bucs have no answer at that point.
I don't even drink beer, and I went in there and drunk 3 of my buddies' beers. I'm like, oh my! I drunk 3 beers before that drive was over with.
All right, my friend. Thanks a lot for calling. Let me go ahead and give you the woo. All right, appreciate you, Curtis.
This baseball stat, man.
Yes, definitely tune in for that. All right. All right. See you later, buddy. There you go. Curtis from Newport Richie, one of my favorites. Let's go out to the web heads here. Vernon says, what's up, Peter Blake? What's going on? Vernon says, I know the Bucs lost the last 2, but I think they both should be on Brady's shoulders. Do you agree?
No.
Okay, and why?
No, because the one I'm going to blame Tristan Wirfs on.
Okay.
There was a particular part where the defensive end was dropping back in the coverage, and it was pretty obvious, and the linebacker was coming up onto Tristan Wirfs, and he was taking the inside, and Tristan Wirfs just, it's right there. Go ahead.
Olay it.
You'll see it. Not even an Olay. The friggin' red flag. The carpet wasn't even out there. It was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Matter of fact, I'm still very upset over the whole ordeal.
I can tell. All right, Vernon, good stuff. Troy Polamalu, King Troy, Trojan Legend SC, been saying Bowles is a mediocre coach. Do you agree with that? Mediocre coach? I think it comes back to Troy, and I know you've been on this bandwagon. You hate the back end, but when you're missing SMB, when you're missing Carlton Davis, when you're depending on Richard Sherman, and before the game he gets a calf injury and can't even play in the game. D. Delaney goes out with him getting burned, but goes out with a concussion. You're depending on Pierre Desir, Ross Cockrell. I mean, these are not the names that the Bucs anticipated depending on at the beginning of the year. So I think, some slack should be cut for this defensive unit. Although at the end of the day, they have to step up, especially at defensive line. And 5 sacks should be enough. But when you have an opportunity, I'll tell you what, let Bruce explain it to you. Let me go ahead and put you in the back room. We'll bring you back here, Harry. Stand by. This is Bruce today talking about his defense live here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Here we go.
No, because, we still had a couple that we let him get out too many times, and we talked about it all week. And I think we dropped 3 interceptions right in our hands. So you're not going to beat anybody that way.
Of all the ways to lose a game, giving up a 19-play drive to close things out,
That's very disappointing as for us. Yeah, for us. We pride ourselves on defense, and we've lost too many games, given up too many leads in the fourth quarter.
We pride ourselves on defense. We've given up too many leads in the fourth quarter. Right there describes this season and the difference between the Bucs team last year in that postseason run, Harry, and this year.
I don't know. Every time I watch Bruce Arians, I just want to throw up in my mouth. I'm telling you. I'm sorry. And that's a horrible thing to say. I have been one of this man's largest critics, winning or not winning. I don't like the way he tries to motivate his team. I just don't. Not in today's day and age. You do not call your players out publicly. I'm sorry. You just don't do that. You keep that stuff in the locker room. I've never been a proponent of a coach doing it. Never. And, you combine that with, look, it's a very generalized rule. Everybody says they hold themselves accountable. Do you? You want to know when someone learns from their mistakes, Peter Blake? Is when they stop making the same mistakes over and over and over and over again. So you know what?
When you do the same thing over and over again and you expect different results,
right.
What do you call that? Insanity.
It's insanity. So you know what? I'm going to call the coaching staff out for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You have no problem calling out the players. Let me call you out for being idiots of not wanting to run the football. Oh, we need to run the ball more, but you're going to come out and run the ball 10 times. Oh, you're going to run the ball 6 times against New Orleans. Oh, you're only going to run the ball 7 times against Kansas City. But you're holding yourself accountable when you says this falls on the coaching staff, but I'm still going to continue to do what I want to do. You're no different than Ryan Pace.
Period.
The same mentality. You've got an ego. The difference, my friend, is you have a much better personnel underneath you to be able to coach. No different whatsoever. Another man that refuses to do something that you know is beneficial for the football team. I'm sorry. That's my rant.
All right, good stuff there. Let me go out to Ben Cornett. Ron Rivera has always had success against the Bucs in his coaching career. He's also had success against BA, whether BA is with the Bucs or the Cardinals. Sometimes certain coaches have other coaches' numbers. Agree with that? I agree with that. I mean, the fact
I agree with that. That's a really good comment by Ben Cornett. And I shouldn't be so hard. I guess I'm just trying to give Bruce Arians a little taste of his own medicine. I'm sorry I got to keep going on this one because it really just grinds my gear, Peter. I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of this coaching staff being indicting to players that most teams would be blessed to have on their team. Okay, they had a bad game. You know what? Say, we could get a little bit better at receiver other than says, hey, he better catch the damn ball. You can't act like that, okay? I'm sorry. You just can't do that. You're world champions. World champions.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the great Walter Payton said, when you scored a touchdown, he used to take the football and hand it to the referee. Act like you've been there before. And that goes for you too, Coach.
All right, there you go. Christopher Cole says there were a lot of open wide receivers all game, and either Brady didn't wait long enough or he made the complete wrong read. Good stuff, Christopher. By the way, Arians, when he said he blames the coaches, he's not blaming himself. He's blaming his staff. As much as I like Bruce, he's never taken any blame for losses wherever he's been a head coach. Arians oversees these stats. If they're not prepared, that falls on the head coach. Agree with that.
Amen.
Cole says exactly. Harry Ben Cornett also says basic football 101, run the ball. It sets up the passing game. Simple. Absolutely. I'll give you a woo for that because I agree with you on that. All right, let's go out to Milo Jackson. I've been preaching the run since Leftwich came here. You have to run it to keep the D fresh. That's another good point. You also keep the opposing offense, which, look, the Washington football team is no juggernaut, but when they're dominating that defense and they have their number, it's good to keep them off the field. Poor running game design, says Christopher Cole. Troy Polamalu King Troy, fire Bulls, fire Leftwich. This is what you get for that.
No.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. This is what you get. And you get this also. How about that?
Oh, my God. Who the hell cares?
Come on,
Can I comment on one thing?
Go ahead. Go for it.
I need to apologize. I shouldn't get so fired up like that.
No.
No,
Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. You're on the sports web, okay? This is what we do. What do we do? 3 things. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Never, ever apologize for bringing excitement and passion on this show.
I don't want to see Arians or Leftwich fired. Let
Correct.
me be clear on this. I just want him to practice what he's preaching about accountability and leaving his ego at the door. You see, I'm pretty blessed to be able to root for a couple of different teams. Everybody knows I'm a native of Chicago. You can see that. Everybody knows my allegiances.
All right, go ahead.
Everybody knows my allegiances have always been with the Chicago Bears as well as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I can be critical on both teams. And I hated to bring up the comparison. But he's got to hold himself accountable. If you're going to apologize for something, hey, you know what? Mean it.
Let's go out to the phone lines here. Let's get this guy's walk-up music on. Here we go.
You know it's all about the
All right, it's all about the boom. Ben Cornett from Las Vegas. You're on the sports web with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek.
Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Doing great. You Motivational Monday, trying to cheer everybody up. I know everybody's kind of down in the dumps with losing to the Washington football team. I want to know how you're feeling tonight, Mr. Ben Cornett.
As far as the game goes, disappointed. I'll be honest with you.
Obviously. I mean, 2-6 football team, they're needing a win, but you think the matchup is definitely an advantage to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and that high-powered offense, and that's not what you got yesterday, right?
No, what you got yesterday was just weren't prepared.
Yeah.
Just from the opening start, first play of the game, O.J. Howard, false start, 5-yard penalty.
Yeah.
Repeat for. What does that do? 1st and 15. Now you got to throw the ball.
Correct.
So, and like I said, and I said it on live earlier today. When on live, Harry preached what I said. Where was the run game?
It's non-existent. I mean,
Hey,
and it's
Ben, I've been
non-existent.
saying that for 2 years. Let me repeat it. The only time I didn't say anything about it was in the Super Bowl. Okay? Let's be real.
Well,
Peter?
let's be real here. Do you believe in your heart of hearts? We saw what Leonard Fournette can do, but he can only do so much. Do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I can't believe I'm saying this, do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the right running backs on this roster that they can believe in, that can be a bell cow runner or can be productive enough? Is Ronald Jones enough? Is Leonard Fournette enough? Is Giovanni Bernard enough? And if they aren't enough, then you got your answer from the coaching staff. I think they've shown flashes of brilliance, especially Fournette, but I don't know.
Can I
Yeah,
answer this question for you?
please, go for it.
Okay, Ben, I'm not trying to steal your thunder when I say this.
Go ahead.
The Tampa Bay, and I hate to bring up a Chicago analogy, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could have Gale Sayers and Walter Payton in their backfield, and they'd still do nothing different. They are that stubborn. They don't want to run the football. They think by passing to a running back out of the backfield is an extension of the running game, and all that does is keeps the defense a little bit further back and keeps everything in front of them. And if anybody disagrees with me on it, just watch any game you want. They don't like to run. Hell, they've set the record on the fewest attempts, and one of them was a kneel down. Am I correct, Peter?
Yes, against the Saints last year. And again, I keep on going back to it. Ben, you saw this last year, the difference with this team in the postseason. What was the main difference besides their defense stepping up? Their running game.
Yeah, the run game. Wow, what a concept.
Right. I mean you got to have it. You got to have balance to your offense. You do. You got to have it.
But didn't we know when Arians first came in this was going to happen, though? I mean, can you be so shocked by that? I mean, because he did it in Arizona.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. And you had.
And let me tell you something. He's got two studs of a running back. And you don't even give one of them. And I understand that Ronald Jones, the victim of volume, he's not having the greatest of seasons. But Giovanni Bernard got a run. What's that tell me about Bruce Arians thinking about the victim of volume?
Listen, I think there's two things going on here. Either, like you said, he's stubborn, which I could see that.
Right.
But something's got to be going on.
Well, I think it's confidence, guys. I mean, right? I mean, Ronald Jones comes in. He's not the best pass protector. If he's getting Brady killed or he's missing a block, that could be a crucial play in the game. So they're not trusting it. They're not trusting him.
I understand that, and I don't think you're wrong on that.
Right.
But at some point, how's the guy going to get confidence if he's not on the field?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have him out there. I mean, like you said, it's got to be balanced. Listen, if Jones is not out there, he's not going to gain any confidence by just not having his helmet and being on the sideline.
I agree.
I'll answer your question again, Peter. Let's go back to what Detroit did against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh knew that they were going to run the football. How many times? Let me repeat it. How many times did DeAndre Swift have the ball and run left?
33 times.
There you go. And still ran for how many yards? A lot. Combined, everybody combined was 200 some yards, 230 yards. Are you kidding me? And they knew they were going to run the football. And they were stacking 8 and 9 in the box every play. And they were still being successful. Let me tell you something. You run the football, you can have 4 consecutive 3-and-outs, and you call that ugly, disgusting football, but I promise you, you continue to run, 2 things happen. You will break one eventually, and I assure you, you will have wide receivers running free downfield. And with this offense, let me repeat it, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Scotty Miller, Johnson, you put any 4 wide receivers out there, they will have a heyday against the all-time greatest defenses of all time. All you have to do is run the football first. You set up that pass.
Sure you do. Sure you do. I agree with you. And it's about identity, and it's also about a commitment.
God, I feel like a broken record. We are talking about the same crap now for 30 minutes.
Well, it's okay, though. That's okay. What else, Ben?
As far as yesterday goes, did you see some post about how Evans has been he wasn't targeted enough?
Yeah,
But
I've seen a little bit of that. I mean, I don't think that the chemistry. I don't think it's a personal thing between Brady and
no,
Evans. I
no,
just think honestly, Brady is not seeing him open because either there's pressure getting into his face, and he's scared of getting that pressure or turning over the ball
He's not
because
getting this, Peter.
right, you're not
He's
getting.
he's not getting this. He's
And
not getting
also,
the
Evans may
separation.
not necessarily be getting the separation because he may
He's
be
not.
bracketed by 2 or 3 players at that point. That's what
He
he's
is.
going to do.
I did notice that, and I wasn't paying attention too much to the wide receivers. I did notice a lot of safeties over the top and a lot of safety help.
yeah,
In some cases, they were playing a zone, not with 2 people covering them, but there was a third shadowing.
Yeah,
right. I was gonna say that too. Like Evans was open for a few plays. Here's the thing: like without Gronk, there's gonna be more focus on Evans and Godwin. That means
correct.
safeties can come in and shoot a little more. That
Correct.
way,
Correct.
so that way, yeah, and that's the reason why I think sometimes Brady doesn't go. Brady knows better. He's not gonna throw that in tight coverage. He's
No,
already predetermined what play or what target he's gonna go to.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And you would think a better result would happen yesterday with Chase Young out of the game, but give credit to where credit is due. Like our old friend Leo Haggerty says, they get paid too on the other sideline, and they had a pretty good defensive scheme. And at the end of the day, if your guys on the outside are not winning those one-on-one matchups, then it could be a long day, and it could be what you saw. And hopefully, they're able to get some of these injured players back in a Brown and a Gronk. What else, Ben? And we'll end it off on there. And we'll read more of these comments. What else you got to say?
I was gonna say lastly, the also we're going back to the run game. I know,
Sure.
but like Donovan Smith's a liability on passing plays. Wouldn't you want to run the ball more where you're at his strength, at these offensive linemen's strength as well? Because they're not the best at pass protection either. We got a quarterback that can release the ball fast.
Yeah.
That's the between him and Jameis. So they got to run the ball to help the offensive line.
I agree. I mean, I think the offensive line has been good this year. I don't think they've been bad. I mean, coming into the game, they were only giving up 12 sacks in the whole season. But you're exactly right. I mean, you want to establish an identity, if you will, and you want to use that physicality for a Donovan Smith because he's athletic to get down the field and make some blocks in the Ali Marpet. But consequently, you're against Jonathan Allen, who nobody was talking about yesterday, came into the game with 6 sacks, and Deron Payne in that middle. Those guys are big hosses. So, the offensive line, they had their hands full yesterday. I agree with you, though. It goes back to the running game, establishing the run, and that's what you're going to have to do versus a New York Giant team that's going to come in here and give the Bucs everything they can handle. And that's what the Bucs have to deal with every game because they are the Super Bowl champions. They have the target on their back. Anything else, Ben?
No, sir. That is it for tonight. I just wanted to get that off my chest, and you guys are doing a great job as always.
Hey, man, thanks a lot. Appreciate the call. Let me go ahead and give it that woo right there. Happy Motivational Monday. I know it's not Victory Monday. Open phone line, 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web live here on NSPN, and of course, I Love St. Pete. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with the professional handicapper extraordinaire from 1252 Chicago Sports, Mr. Harry the Greek. Let's go out to Troy Polamalu, King Troy, Trojan Legend SC. Peter said, screw Olympicos and their fans.
Olympiacos.
Okay. Well, I don't know what he said, but
it's Greek soccer.
Okay. Well,
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
That's what you get for saying some smart stuff like that. Roger Shue says Buck sucks and Harry rolls, and you know what? You suck.
Shut up!
All right, let's go on to Ben Cornett again. See, with Gronk, that makes it easier for defenses to focus on Evans and Godwin. Now I saw a post that say Brady missed Evans a lot yesterday when Mike was open. Here's the thing, without the threat of Gronk, the safeties can play closer to where Evans and Godwin goes. Yes, they're open, but Brady is not just throwing it all the time to Mike or just because they're open on lots of plays. Brady already has his target to throw to before the snap. If that makes sense, apologies for the long-windedness. No problem at all. Good stuff. Gabriel Breck, what's going on, my friend? Let me go ahead and fire the cannon for that. Appreciate you, my friend. Of course, Mr. Beck there promoting the channel and everything with social media. Appreciate that. Getting the subscribers up, if you will. Go and subscribe to the Sports Web live on YouTube. And, of course, NSPN and I Love St. Pete, but especially YouTube. We like that. It didn't matter because Brady didn't have the time to throw, or he didn't see them wide open wide receivers and tight ends. Mr. TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network, big fight night weekend there. Keep up the good work. Another point is injury with Antonio Brown. Missed second half of the Saints playoff game and all the NFC Championship game. Now 3 games and counting in the middle of this year. Godwin there, game after game, taking hit after hit. So that's TJ Reeves right there saying
What's
that.
up, TJ?
Troy Polamalu King, Trojan legend. F. Heineke. Jay Garrison says Bowles ran too much zone versus Washington. Agree with that?
Yes.
Too much zone?
He runs zone all the time. He doesn't like to run very much press, and it's been his MO for a long time.
And you know what that is? That is confidence in your players. That is playing a D. Delaney. That is playing a Ross Cockrell or a Pierre Desir, because they're not familiar with that system. If you have a Carlton Davis and you have a Sean Murphy-Bunting, I think Jamel Dean has played out of his mind besides the missed tackle on the sideline. Please knock him out of bounds, make the tackle. Don't let him get that extra 5 to 10 yards. But the point is, when Bowles has confidence in those players being healthy, he can do those creative things. I don't necessarily think he can do that. And I also don't think the defensive staff, even though they say they're confident, they may not necessarily be confident. And why should they be? They weren't depending on these players at the start of the season. These are backup players at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's look, man, it's not a hidden secret. They've been injured. It's not the end of the season for them. But I'm going to tell you right now, if the Buccaneers, and this is the last I want to speak about it, if the Buccaneers don't come out with their pedal to the metal by running the football and being balanced and really beating this New York Giant team into the ground, this season's in jeopardy. I don't care what the record is at the end of the season. They are not going to be as good as they were last year, and that's a problem. They need to get that mo back, and it needs to start now, just like it did last year when they finished out. When it was the Atlanta, Detroit, Atlanta, and Minnesota, or whatever it was in those final 4 games.
Start off with Minnesota coming out of the bye week after
Correct.
you lose to the Chiefs and you lose to the Saints.
And I said, go on that roll now.
Right.
And then it keeps it going and throughout the playoffs. They have to get that mo. I'm all about the mo.
I'm all about the mo too, and we'll stay away from the Bucs in the running game for tonight. All right, let's go out to Johnny Cinco, big-time Cowboy fan. Thanks a lot for tuning in, my friend. Crime Jones, I think he's talking about Ronald Jones. I don't know if it's a crime not to get him. Derek Jeter, okay. The only woman Aaron Rodgers can keep is Pat McAfee. I'll kind of give you a little bit of pass on that. I don't know why. I like Pat McAfee, though. Jay Garrison says, when the Bucs attempt under 20 rushes a game, regardless of situations, we normally lose. Need to run the ball more. That is a fact. That is the fact. And to me, when Winston was here as the starting quarterback, I would always go back to that not enough balance. And that is the offense. And that is also not only on BA, that's on Byron Leftwich also. You're the offensive coordinator. So let's go back to Jay here. Stafford is unstable. He's a good quarterback, but way too unstable. I've said the same thing. He's reverted back to his Lions ways. They've gotten too cute. They also, Harry, don't have a consistent running game. David says, do you know when any of our injured cornerbacks are going to come back? Who knows at this point? We'll get more information. We'll be back on Wednesday night, hopefully with Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News and some other guests. But reportedly, Sean Murphy-Bunting may be back. We'll see. Antonio Brown, Gronk, but SMB, it depends on range of motion and what he does this week in practice. That's according to BA. Let's go out, but let's go back out to our phone lines here. Stand by. Let's get his intro on. Yep. He's using his second call for the night. Mr. Ed from Palm Harbor, welcome back to the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. You're on with yours truly, along with the great, and he is great, Harry the Greek.
He is great. He is. He's awesome.
He is.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. I know me and him butt heads sometimes, but I have I get a ton of love.
To me, here's the thing: it's okay to butt heads and debate if we're doing it respectfully. We're not doing this in personal. We're not calling each other names, and even if we call each other names, it's all love here. It's Motivational Monday. Now, go ahead, Ed. Let's do it.
I would hope that you hang up with me if I started calling you.
Well, if you start calling me names, then I'll do this to you right here. I'll give you the Troy Polamalu treatment. That's what I'll do.
Okay,
Now,
so you asked me last week, or you said it. You made a comment last week why I wasn't really high on Richard Sherman, and I told you that I wasn't sold on him yet because he's just been injured. He played one game with us, I think only one game, and he's just been injured since. Yesterday, somehow he pulled something during warm-up.
yes,
and
the
he was
calf.
supposed to start.
Right, and he
It's
may
just
miss multiple
frustrating.
games. He may miss multiple games now because of that injury. And look, the Bucs didn't anticipate that. They thought they were getting a corner that could come in and be somewhat competent. Not the same Richard Sherman that you're talking about, 2012 to 2017, one of the best corners in the league. Not that guy. They thought they could get somebody that would be an upgrade over what they have. But it has not worked out because of the injury situation. And oh, by the way, that's what happens to your body when you get older. It's not like Tom Brady, when you stay healthy, knock on wood. Richard Sherman right now is dealing with injuries. So
I know why Tom Brady stays healthy, because he's on a plant-based diet. That's why he stays healthy.
That's what it is, plant-based diet?
It is, because you don't get as much inflammation that way. But anyways, I'm not on a plant-based diet. My sister is, and she keeps preaching that to me all the time. But anyways, Harry was telling me last week, well, the reason why they got him because they want him to be the quarterback, quote unquote,
of the secondary,
of the defensive backfield, and he's not doing that if he's on the bench.
You're correct, but he is showing his leadership from the bench. I don't know what to say with that, man. I just don't know what to say. I mean, he's got to be out there to be a little bit of a better player. I think it was a really good acquisition. I don't think he can play anywhere like he did before in the past, but he does definitely know where players are supposed to be lined up, and he can help a little bit back there. But you're right. You're absolutely correct that he's not out there. What good are you?
Yeah, what good are you at this point, Ed? You're exactly right. So, and once again, you're depending on names that you were not banking on at the beginning of the year. You're depending on backups. And again, it kind of limits you, I believe. And I think it's limited this coaching staff from doing some of the things they were able to do last year. Just my opinion.
And also, I want to speak a little bit about Vita Vea. And we had a little, we talked about it the other day.
Very fortunate. Yes. Very fortunate.
And the problem that I'm finding with Vita Vea is he's hurt every year now. His durability is just not going to cut it. He's got to find a way to stay healthy. I don't know if he's got to fight and play through injuries. I don't know. And he's been banged up all year. And then finally he got an injury that really, was going to sideline him for a while. So, last year the same thing happened. The year before, the same thing happened, but it was in preseason. He got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have him until like week 9 or 10 or something like that. His rookie season, same thing. Yeah, I mean, I know he's a great player when he's healthy and he's in there, but he's not really,
Well, I mean,
really
he has been injured the last couple of years here. Disappointing last year because he was playing so well with a broken leg, but sometimes you can't control injury. But you're exactly right. You definitely need to have him on the field because he makes such a big impact. At the end of the day, I think the Bucs will trade that for his ability when he's on the field. But you're exactly, I don't know what the answer to that question is. I mean, durability, you've got to be more durable, but injuries happen in the National Football League. Unfortunately, it's happened the last couple of years to Vea. I don't necessarily think he's not in shape. I just think it's, I don't know what to answer. I mean, what do you say about it, Harry? A durability problem for Vea?
Well, look, man, the guy weighs like 3,500 pounds. Okay, I mean, give me a break. Okay, I mean, I'd be terrible just trying to get my fat ass off a couch. Are you kidding me? Look, he's still one of the premier defensive linemen in all of football. Just thank God he didn't tear an ACL. He's got a slight sprain in the MCL, which is painful. But you know what's more painful, Pete? Is that bone bruise. That bone bruise, that could linger all year long. But just thank God it wasn't an ACL. But you're right. Your best is what availability. I hate the old cliches. Look, you need to get your ass out on the field. That's what you need. Okay? Stop being so damn prone to getting hurt. And that will be a need for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the draft this year. They are going to get themselves a defensive lineman.
Oh yeah, you never
Yeah, they
can.
need to.
Right. I mean, you
Gotta
got
have
Sue that's getting up there in age. You've
That's
got
what I was looking for. Your
right,
best ability is availability.
right, and you've got Sue that's up
I,
there in
I
age.
thought that all about myself, David Mosier.
There you go. You also have JPP fighting through an injury, a torn labrum. He hasn't necessarily been as effective. Shaq Barrett has been a little bit disappointing. I mean, I think everybody on that line yesterday, even with saying that, the 5 sacks they had, they were still disappointing because you're letting Heineke out of that pocket. You're letting him, get out of containment, and then on top of it, convert those third downs. Ed, we got to run. I'm going to read these comments. We're going to go a little bit lighthearted here in just a little bit. Thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you. All right, boss?
And then we're going to watch the game.
Yes, we're going to watch a game because I'm not going to stay on here all night long. I want to see the Rams and 49ers. I love talking.
Yeah, they're getting ready to go in the fourth quarter soon.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's see here. Let's go out to David. We talked about that. And it looked like the victim of volume was a victim once again. Laugh out loud. That's what I've been saying to Peso. Those decisions are made by Leftwich, so he needs to wake up and get creative. I agree with everybody saying BA. That's Byron Leftwich. He's an offensive coordinator. We shut down all of our shows for tonight to watch you, says Bucs Report President. I appreciate that. Thank you. I don't know who you are. I got a feeling that's Troy Polamalu changing names in the middle of the show. Plant-based diet and
I don't think
avocado
that's...
tequilas equals Tom Brady at 44 going on 34. Agree with that, Ben Cornett? Saying that on the YouTube channel. Thanks a lot.
Whatever you say, Ben.
Your best ability is availability, Ben. Again, I think it would hurt Vea to... I think it wouldn't hurt Vea to lose 10 to 15 pounds. He does carry a lot of weight for his size. Weight loss could help his durability.
It could also hamper his ability in the run game as well.
Correct.
Just saying.
I'm not a nutritionist, a nutritionist, if I can say it. I can't even say it. Vita was confirmed to be on PEDs, pizza, and enchiladas, and donuts. Woo! It's funny. That's actually funny. Bucs Report President, that was not me, Troy. Okay, that was you because you're an idiot that would say something like that.
Shut up!
All right, so seeing as we're keeping this lighthearted tonight, we're going to get off football. We'll get back to football after this little video. But you asked the question, who is the all-time baseball player that has the highest on-base percentage? Do you know, Harry?
Yes, actually, I do know this answer. And his name is Mr. Eddie Goodell. Eddie Goodell played one game, but he was in the dugout for the entire season. He was an extraordinary baseball player. Peter?
We're going to take a break. Yes.
And we're going to take a break. We're going to watch this, and I got a little story to talk about. Hit it.
All right, here we go. Stand by. Here we go with Eddie Goodell.
Ah, baseball, our nation's pastime. Some may love the game for its nostalgic simplicity, and others it's just for the peanuts. But very few actually know of a game that took place on August 19th of 1951, where one of the strangest at-bats ever took place. The team, the St. Louis Browns, and their legendary owner, Bill Veck, who would do anything to draw a crowd.
What's behind your theory of showmanship in baseball?
Well, I happen to have a very ridiculous theory, according to many ball club operators, that it should be fun. You know, I don't think that baseball is such a grim, serious thing. Sure, I don't want to interfere with the game, but I do want everyone who comes out the ballpark to have fun. And look, let's face it, often the ball game is not the most exciting thing that ever happened.
This is Bill Veck. He's a legend in baseball. He's also a one-of-a-kind man. He's a dreamer who's not satisfied until his dreams come true in front of a full house. For 50 years, Bill has dreamed up thousands of different schemes. The paying customers. He put the players in shorts, installed a shower in the bleachers, and built the world's first exploding scoreboard. But Bill has had his ups and downs operating ball clubs. In Cleveland, the world champion 1948 Indians set a league attendance record that still hasn't been broken. But he nearly went broke 5 years later with the St. Louis Browns.
This is Eddie Goodell, and I know you may be confused as to why a man of this stature is playing for a Major League Baseball team, but Eddie actually holds one of the most significant records in baseball history. Not only that, he was a vital asset as a riveter in World War II, mostly being assigned to crawl into missiles for repairs where no one else could get to. Eventually, Eddie would turn up as one of Bill Veck's most beloved spectacles.
Was Bill Veck, baseball's greatest showman. He is best remembered for his years at the helm of the hapless St. Louis Browns, where he staged Grandstand Manager's Day, in which fans voted on what the Browns should do next on the field. But his most memorable stunt took place during a game between the Browns and the Tigers. In the first inning, Veck sent in a pinch hitter, Eddie Goodell, a midget who stood just 3 feet 7 inches tall. His strike zone was said to measure 1 1/2 inches. Veck told Goodell that a man in the stands with a high-powered rifle would shoot him if he swung at a pitch. Goodell obeyed. The Tiger pitcher walked him on 4 straight pitches, all of them high.
I once ran into Eddie Goodell. He batted once and he got a walk because the pitcher, the Tigers, Kane, fell off the mound watching it and laughed, and so did the catcher, Bob Swift. Eddie got a walk on 4 pitches. Eddie's, "I'm disappointed in Mr. Veck," in his little piping voice. "He promised me I'd keep on playing baseball. I batted only once, but I got on base."
Veck got the press he'd wanted. "All I have ever said," Veck told his critics, "is that you can draw more people with a losing team plus bread and circuses than with a losing team and a long, still silence."
Veck did get the press that he wanted, and Eddie, who was paid $100 for that game, sadly never had another single at-bat in his life. He did, however, make $17,000 just from TV appearances afterward. Unfortunately, a decade after his MLB debut, Eddie Goodell, due to a long life struggle with chronic alcohol abuse, often resulting in violent bar fights, Eddie was brutally beaten up in a mugging. And on June 8, 1961, he was found dead in his room by a family member. The coroner also concluded that he died of a heart attack, and somehow, after this savage beating, he had still managed to make it back home. Goodell's life is still celebrated as he still holds the record for best on-base percentage at 100%. Sure, he only batted once and was walked, but just for once, in that single game, Eddie felt like the biggest man in baseball, and that is what he will always be remembered for.
All right, welcome back to the evolution of sports talk television here. Let's go ahead and
Hang on. Don't you swing that bat.
Don't you swing that bat. I got a
Don't
high
you swing that
and all the Rays right now, all the Rays fans are watching. Why don't the Rays do this? I mean, how many times could you get somebody on base if you had a... All right. I'm going out to the phone lines here. Let's go ahead and get this guy on.
Yeah! Tampa made some noise!
All right, Curtis from Newport Richie, welcome back to the evolution of sports talk television.
I just can't, man. I can't. All I'm thinking about is this little guy in a bar fighting and people going midget tossing. That's all I'm thinking.
Bro, let me tell you something. I got to tell you a little bit about him. Bill Veck was an absolute genius. He wasn't kidding. I mean, he was a master at taking really bad teams and making things happen. He designed the first exploding scoreboard. You know, that was in Kaminsky Park in Chicago when he was for the White Sox. He put the first baseball uniforms for professional baseball players to wear shorts. Think about that, man.
Do you
It was
know what
just
that reminds me? Do you know what that reminds me of? Have you ever seen that movie Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell?
Yep. Well, bro, no, but think about this, man. Did you notice the spot where the catcher on his knees was taller than Eddie Goodell?
Man, I can't listen. You know,
I want to know how well you were listening. How big was Eddie Goodell's strike zone?
Listen.
How big was Eddie Goodell's strike zone? 1.7 inches.
1 inch.
Why wouldn't Stu do that? Honestly, to get more runners on, why not? I mean, the Rays have tried everything else. I mean, you have no starting pitching most of the time. You got a bullpen guy that comes in for a couple innings, then you start him out. I mean, why not put some midgets out there?
Can you imagine, honestly, could you imagine Bill Veck
David, hold on.
owning the Tampa Bay Rays?
It's the same thing I was thinking. This little dude getting into bar.
Yeah, it was. No, but seriously, he used to get not bar fights, David, violent bar fights.
Violence, like
violent ones.
Is he
violent ones.
Do you know? That reminds me of I was watching some old wrestling clips.
You better watch it. The cue balls are going to be flying at you. You'll never know where they're coming from. Hey, that's little man bowling, I guess. I don't know.
It's called midget tossing, man.
Is he biting ankles or biting elbows like Dan Campbell said to do for the Detroit Lions? That's all I want to know.
And you know, the worst part about this is I grew up with a guy. He was a midget. He was like 4'2", man. And it was
he was taller than Eddie.
Well, I know, but see, like, you know, later on in life, when my oldest son was about 4 years old, he met him. And he was like, "Hey, Daddy, does he want to come in the room and play with me?" And man, I just couldn't take it, man. I just couldn't take it, man.
You know, I'm not trying to be, you know, I'm not trying to stereotype or anything else. I just wanted to bring that up because nobody believed me when I said that Eddie Goodell led Major League Baseball in on-base percentage. Not just led it, the all-time leader.
Right.
Never been broken. Eddie Goodell. One at bat, he did take a walk and he got on. And you know what?
This comment, how did he even hold a bat, bro?
It's very easy, bro. The bat was longer than
He didn't
him. But
swing it because he had a high-powered rifle.
that's true. He wouldn't even think about swinging it. Eddie was in his crouched position like this. Come on, baby. Let's go. No. I'm only kidding. No, don't shoot me.
He kind of looked like Chris Sims when Chris Sims used to start for the Bucs.
I know. Hey, man, here, hold on. Bill Veck, could you imagine him being the owner of the Tampa Bay Rays?
Yes.
Now, listen, let me explain why. Do you know how fun it would be to go to a game if Bill Veck actually owned the Tampa Bay Rays? I know what it was like going to the game when Bill Veck owned the team, when he owned the Whites. Oh, my God, bro. Let me tell you something.
I'll give you one better. It'd be nice to see him as the Rays owner playing the Orioles as bad as they've been lately.
I'm saying just go get some 3'7" guys and just put them out there and say, look, we got a high-powered rifle for you if you swing the bat. Seriously.
This is quite possibly the highlight of my week. And my week just started, man. Like,
there you go. I mean, and Harry told me this, and I was like, what are you on? Are you drunk? Are you on drugs? And he's like, this is true. And I looked at it.
I'm on drugs, and I still can't believe it.
Right? I mean, we got to do this every Monday.
We will do something to keep it every Monday, keep it light, but I do want to bring up one thing.
Yes.
May God rest his soul. Julio Lugo, former Boston Red Sox player, former Tampa Bay Ray player, passed away from a heart attack earlier in the year. Pedro Feliciano also passed away at the age of 45. Man, these people are dropping like flies when they're super young. It wasn't COVID, but they were heart attacks, and it's just a shame. My prayers and thoughts go out to his family since we were talking about baseball.
Yeah.
But Bill Veck was an innovator, and I mean, he really was an innovator because I never in a million years would have thought about it. And that's why some of the rules of baseballs have changed because of Bill Veck.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking about him in the batter's box, like holding the bat over his shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and looking back, he got his peripheral vision, if you will.
Oh, my God. Please post the comment from David Mosier.
I'm posting it right now. David says, all I'm picturing is Howard the Duck moment when he jumps on the bar so he can punch the dude in the face.
Oh, my God, man.
I mean, the guy must have been a ladies' man, too, because he's seen him with two ladies. He was
no, dude. That was one thing a lot of people didn't know. Women were taking this dude home like he was the next coming of Christ, man. Can you imagine that? Hey, baby, come here.
What is he, the Brad Pitt of little people?
Hang on. Help me out.
Listen, he
And-
got
and
paid.
he-
Listen, feel good about this. Even though the Bucs lost, he got paid $100 for that appearance. Afterwards, he got paid $17,000. So it could always be worse, right, Curtis?
That's almost like $250,000 in today's money, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So, all right, what else, Curtis?
And
Hey,
just
bro, he was knocking back some good drinks, bro.
Yeah, he was.
For more than that, he was knocking back more than that. But you know,
We still end up knocking our boots. Get it? Click, click, click.
I'm with you both at this point, Curtis. Yes.
the Bucs would have put him at running. Bucs would have put him at running back. No fullback. Power I.
What do you mean successful? That's all I want to know.
If not, there's a guy with a high-powered rifle in the third tier, in the third section.
Harry, just our luck. He would have broke a run like Danny Dimes last year and tripped before he got in the end zone.
You couldn't see him going through the line of scrimmage. Where'd he go?
He would have been like Lawrence Taylor on game day.
He would have ran under Jensen's legs.
I'm done with this.
Me too, man. I got to go watch this game.
You guys are
All
terrible,
right,
man.
man.
Have a good night, man.
All right, Curtis.
This game is over, buddy. 31-7 if there's no flag. 11 minutes to go.
Wow. All right, let's read this comment here, and then I'll probably try to get out of here. I think these players need to ask themselves if repeating and being one of the best teams in the NFL history means anything to them. If so, are they willing to work for it and achieve it together? That's a great text. It is a great point.
A great question.
Yeah. I mean, and we'll see. We'll see next Monday night. I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Go ahead and promote yourself. Let's watch this game. Let's get out of here. If you want to come back on Wednesday, we'll talk around the NFL.
Bro, I love talking around the NFL. Matter of fact, I just love talking with you. Listen, I'm Harry the Greek. You can catch me on the over-under on 1252 Sports out of Chicago. That's 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. our time on the Eastern side. I'm going to be the host. My co-host is Mr. Peter Blake, who's just sitting to my left when he actually comes back in. But anyway, seriously, guys, I do appreciate you having me on. Much love, Peter.
I got to read this comment really quick because this is going to make you laugh. How pissed off do you have to get people to swing back on them? That's what I want. All right, I'm done. All right. I just imagine this guy swinging on somebody. Right, exactly. Ready? Here goes. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper. Thanks a lot for your time. Appreciate you. All right.
See you, brother.
All right. See ya. Much love. Absolutely. Much love right there. I see you, buddy. All right. Let's get out of here on that note, guys. A little bit of motivation on Monday. It's not as bad as it seems. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers still sitting at 6-3 atop of the NFC South as the Giants await them on Monday Night Football. We'll have you live again. Thanks to Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper extraordinaire from 1252 Sports on Wednesday. We're looking to have Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News and some other guests here. Al Curtis from It's Sports Mag breaking down the Giants. And, of course, Harry the Greek once again giving you those betting lines. Do three things for me on this Motivational Monday. You ready? Here goes. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake. Have a great night.
Stan Arthur here for the I Love St. Pete Facebook group. If you're a business owner looking to connect with tens of thousands of potential new local customers, you owe it to yourself to get enrolled in our Key Tag Rewards program. Since 2019, we've signed up more than 200 local merchants. Sponsor opportunities are available too, such as our group banner ad and even your own custom key tags. Just go to stpetekeytag.com, get enrolled, and get ready to get busy. St. Pete Key Tag.